Okay, I can't see myself. Oh well. Hello, everyone. I am trying. Um, my camera doesn't seem to be on. I don't know if y'all could see me or not, but just let me know if you can't. Uh, let's see here. Well, that's a first. I haven't had this happen before, but you know what? Mercury retrograde um, is happening. Can Oh my goodness here. Uh, oh well, I can't see anything. This is so funny. Mm, guess we will figure this out. Okay, since someone is there, can you see me? Because I don't, my camera doesn't seem to be working. But if y'all can see me, okay, well, cool. I don't need to see myself then. Okay, well, thank you all for joining us or joining me and each other this evening. It is March 25th, 2024, Monday evening, Akashic Records After Dark. I am so glad that you're here. As always, I will do like I do in an individual reading. I'll read the prayer and then I'll take a second to connect, and then we will see what the guides have for us as a message for the whole, and then we'll get into some questions this evening. So I've got lots of questions tonight. And I do want to tell you, if you have been watching the Monday night shows, I have to tell you, last week we had someone write in about their lost kitty, Kira. And if you can see her picture, I don't know if y'all can see. Um, Kira did come home. So she didn't come home on Wednesday like the guides had thought she might. But she did make it home, and she is happy and well and safe. And then I have to tell you, a few weeks ago, somebody wrote in a question because they were finding blue marbles everywhere. And of course, there was some significance for her in particular, but then the guides had a message for everyone about blue marbles being kind of like, the earth is a blue marble. Well, one of my other friends was listening, and I have to show you. This is her dog, Mud. Now, Mud likes to dig in the sand pile, and she takes those little toys. She's constantly taking them out to bury them. Well, look what my friend found in the sand pile. Now, that sand pile's been there for I don't know how many years, but she found her own blue marble. And I thought that is just so worth sharing. And it really just hits home that what happens on these sessions, no matter who asks the question, everybody benefits. There's just something in it for all of us. So I just had to share that. And if you find blue marbles, let me know. I love this kind of stuff. I think it's so much fun to share. Okay, so welcome, everyone. We are going to start with the prayer. And like I will say in a reading, I'll say here, if it's comfortable for you, let yourself relax, close your eyes while I read the prayer. And then just see if anything kind of pops in your mind. It might be a question you're curious about. And it would be fun to see if the guides answer it tonight without you even submitting your question, because that's how this works. Okay. Okay. I ask God if He will have a shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records, so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. Okay, here. So the guides want to share a general message. Actually, they want to do a little exercise tonight. They would like for you to remain with your eyes closed if they're closed. If not, uh, go ahead and close your eyes. And they want you to, and I'm going to do this with you, they want you to bring your awareness into your heart and just the center of your chest, where that heart center is, where that heart chakra resides. And they want you to bring your awareness there. And they want you to just take a moment. And as you breathe in, they want you to feel your breath going into your heart and that your heart is expanding with each breath in. And as you breathe out, they want you to feel yourself releasing anything your heart has been holding that no longer serves you or just doesn't even serve you in the moment right now. So breathe in and let your chest fill up, feel your heart expanding and growing bigger. And then as you exhale and breathe out, just feel yourself letting go of any anxieties or just mindless thoughts or just anything you want to let go of. It doesn't matter, whatever pops in your mind. And sometimes you can visualize the heart chakra as green. And of course, the color of love is pink and compassion is pink. So if you want to breathe in that color and imagine your heart just filling up with that color, you can do that too. And there's a reason they want to give you that exercise right now. And they will explain as we go along. But they said this is something, it's very short, very simple, very sweet. You can open your eyes if you haven't already. And it's just something to bring you back to your heart center. Sometimes they'll tell you, you know what, go put your feet in the grass, go walk outside. I think they said this last week too, touch a tree or hug a tree or barefoot in the grass, just to ground and get out of your head. Well, this is another tool they want you to have to expand your heart center, be in touch with your heart center. And if you notice when you did that, and this is the guides wanting you to hear this, you felt calm and you felt peaceful. And just for even that brief moment, it's like everything kind of feels right with the world when you do that. And so whenever you find you're getting a little spun out about something or rattled about something or whatever it might be, if you're having a feeling or emotion or thought that you don't want to be having, let's just say that, just breathe into that heart space, that heart energy, and feel your heart growing big. And you know what I always think of when I hear that is the movie The Grinch. Remember how his heart grew big and it broke the frame? I always think that, like, the heart can grow bigger and bigger. There's no limit. So that they just want to give you before we jump into the questions tonight. That is something you can teach your children, grandchildren, partners, friends. Okay, let me just see if they have anything else. Hi, everyone. Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to see everybody here. Okay, let me see if the guides have any other message for us tonight before we jump in. No, they said that's it tonight. They want to keep that simple. There's lots to get to, and there'll be lots of information to come through in our questions. Okay, so let's get started. So if you've not joined me before, I always ask everybody, and I forgot to say this, to send questions in to me to my email address at betsy@betsygrady.com, and that's BETSEY, and then at Betsy, BETSEY, Grady.com. It's just easier for me to keep all the questions in one place. If we have time, I'll totally try and get to some of you guys live with us tonight. I would love to do that. And if not, I would just encourage you to please send your questions in. So what I'm going to do, I keep them anonymous and I'll just read the question and we'll see what the guides have to say. Okay, first one. I recently lost a ring from my childhood. I've looked and looked for it to no avail. Do the guides see me eventually finding it, or is it lost forever? Okay, let's see here. Oh, here comes that sun. Okay. Normally, I can tell with lost objects if it's still in your possession or not. Some of you may know it could be in your possession and you still haven't found it for years. That doesn't mean you'll never find it. Just means the time is not the right time. So let me see if your childhood ring is in your possession. What do your guides say? I'm hearing no, it is not in your possession. It's funny. At the same time, I'm hearing you will see it again. So I'm not sure what happened to the ring, if someone maybe borrowed it or it just got misplaced. I'm not sure what happened, but they're saying it is not currently in your possession. I'm hearing it's not far from you. You will see it again. So I don't know if it's anything you've taken outside, you've worn that maybe could have fallen off outside. When I say in your possession, it's not in your home, is what I'm understanding. Could it be outside the home? That's my understanding. But again, that could be your yard. I'm not sure. It could be in a plant you potted outside. If it was something you were wearing, but I would say they are telling me you will see it again, and don't have a timeline around that. So, one of the things that I'm hearing to tell you is to energetically line up with the ring if you can. Visualize everything you can about the ring and the emotion it brings up. And they're saying that this is probably the most important thing for you, is to feel the feelings that the ring brings you. And that's the peace you will always have. You can never lose. So for any of you that lost items that haven't been found, what they want you to do is associate with that item all the wonderful feelings you have with it, um, and know that that's the most important piece, what you're meant to keep forever. So if you've lost something and you're glad you've lost something, then send it blessings and wish it a happy new home wherever it may be. And if you can appreciate just the feeling of that childhood ring without having an attachment or an expectation for it to return to you, they said you'll win just as much, if that makes sense. Win as in not winning or losing, but just receive. That's a better word. Okay. 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 Betsy, as I face cancer treatment soon, my question is, why am I resistant to starting the changes necessary to change habits and prepare for the actual treatments? I know this is an opportunity for positive growth, and yet I'm scared of what this journey looks like and who I'll be on the other side. Okay, that's a big question, big stuff going on for you for sure. Okay. Your guides are saying the reality of the situation hasn't quite set in 100%, and that's okay. And they said the most important thing is to not judge yourself for where you are and the choices that you're making each and every day and each and every moment, and to just be where you are, because when it's time to really get on board with all of that, the inspiration will be there, and you will feel it. They said 1,000%. It'll be a rush of energy. And they said to remember you're very determined, very strong, and that will also support you when the time is right to really adjust your lifestyle in the way you know would be supportive of this journey. They would ask you to be more curious about what you'll look like on the other side of this and who you'll be, because they are saying in lots of cases, cancer is designed to come to us to help us break free of patterns and habits and thoughts and ways that no longer serve us. The cancer shows up in different parts of the body, which brings an additional meaning to it for each person individually. Yet it is meant to like blow things wide open and really give you the, pardon my language, but I'm going to say the fuck it attitude. Like, life is too short, and the things that you worry about just aren't a big deal in the grand scheme of things. And Cancer kind of gives you permission to live with that sense of freedom and live, in new parameters that you create for yourself, if any. And it breaks the boundaries that you've been living in. So be curious about how you'll be on the other side of this in this wide open way. Like, just imagine you're standing, on the edge of the earth, and you can see, eternity. It's like, gosh, you get to jump off and swim in that. And that's what they would have you think about more. And they said, those who love you now are going to love you even more when this happens. And you'll be a real inspiration for walking through this. You have a lot of love and support around you. This is a big time for you. It is. Yeah, it's going to be a big time for you on the other side of this too. And to live with a sense of freedom, a lot of people are striving for that every single day, every single moment. And this, your guides are saying, is your invitation to freedom. It sucks. It sucks to have to go through this. There's no doubt they acknowledge that this is a difficult journey you're getting ready to be on, already started. Yet on the other side of this, the reward will be tenfold of the struggle of this journey, if that makes sense. Okay. Hi, Betsy. What retreats are recommended in the Southeast United States that is offered in 2024 and focuses on energy healing? Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Well, I'll tell you what. Your guides aren't telling me a specific retreat to be open to. And they said they trust your energy to line up with that. Now, what they are saying is they would ask you to, there's two people they would tell you to look up and see if anything in their work appeals to you. It might be a little bit different energy healing than you were thinking of. But it looks like Donna Eden and her energy medicine might be something to consider. And the other one they're saying is Karen Khan. And I think it's, I think her website is called Ascension of Light or Academy of Light Ascension, something like that. But they both do incredible energy work in different ways that the world is ready for expansion in. And it might be something your light is lining up with, and they would have you look there. Something a little bit different than you might have been thinking about. But I would say either one of those, there's something feels like there's tugging there. So see what resonates for you when you look at their sites or their books or their information. Okay, great question. We could all look at that too, right? Okay. How can I make the most of my time left with my mom? And are there any messages from those I love now in spirit about my mom? Okay. Okay. One of the things, guides are going to take a little bit of a detour here instead of answering your question directly right now, but it is going to answer it. They want you to realize that the questions we've had so far, that tool that they gave you in the beginning about checking in with your heart and really expanding that heart energy and feeling what's in the heart. If you do that with some of these questions that you're asking, say, for example, like the energy healers, and maybe you look up Donna Eden and maybe you look up Karen Khan, they would have you check into your heart and breathe into your heart, thinking about each one and see if one feels more different than the other. Or just different than the other. But your heart is your guidance system. And your feelings and emotions are guiding you, but your heart is really what is telling you what's going on, how you really feel about something. So even asking about the lost ring, feeling that in your heart. There's a truth there that you know. They would have each question so far, you practice that being in the heart. And so, to your question, how to make the most time with my mom here, they said to as you think of things that you would like or want to consider, they would ask for you to check in with your heart with each and everything. And it's just really becoming very present with an idea or, a thought or just something you're considering. One of the things they said is time. Time, consistent time. And it's not like long stretches of time, but it is that connection, whether it's the phone call or the visit. It might be daily, it might be, every other day. But the main thing they're saying is with that time, bring your presence. And remember there's real meaning in that. Be present, be in the present moment, bring your presence to that person. And that is a gift. So presence, Presence is really Presents. I hope I said that right. Um, and that's what they're saying. Be present, be present, be present. And it might just be sitting there. It might just be being there. Might be letting her ask questions, talk about things, ramble. Doesn't matter. But your presence is really what the gift is. And I'm hearing too, her grandchildren every once in a while would be helpful too. Yeah. And I'm also hearing she loves stories and she likes to tell stories. So things that you ask her, um, like she appreciates that. She likes to visit that memory lane in that way. So thank you for asking that. Okay. Okay, here's another question. Is my dog, Molly Brown, suffering? Is she ready to transition and does she want our help to do so? Okay. Let's see here, Molly Brown. Well, guides want to tell you this, and this goes with humans too. Whenever there's pain and suffering as someone is winding their way down on this planet, for animals, for people, oftentimes that pain and suffering has to happen because somebody doesn't want to leave and they don't really want to make their transition. It's like they're just whatever they can do to stay here. And a lot of times it's because they just they don't want to leave. They've had a good life and they love it here. And then there's some cases that some humans, now not animals, but humans might be a little bit afraid of what's on the other side. And some people still believe that there's nothing, like this is it. Once you die, you die. And even though most of us watching this and listening to this know that is not true, there's so many people out there that still believe that. And so they hang on to transitioning, like they're really rejecting it, resisting it. So pain and suffering at the end sometimes has to happen because it's almost like it has to get too painful to be in the body that the only alternative is to leave. So sometimes it is very necessary. So with Molly Brown, what I'm hearing is she is not suffering. And it will be obvious when she is. Give me 1 second here. I would say it's not too long, but what I'm hearing to tell you is that she's going to make it very clear to you when it's her time. And I would say, yes, you'll have to assist, but that's because she wants you to make sure you're there with her. And I would say anybody in that family member that's there with her to go at the same time. But it does look like she's going to make that obvious. And it could be. Just not even being able to get up and move her body. I'm not sure which way she'll make it obvious, but it will be obvious. That I'm hearing for sure to tell you. Doesn't feel like it's that long though. I think your intuition is already picking up on that. Okay. Good. Okay. Here we go. Another question here. I received a message that I have more work to do in this life. What work is that I have to do? Or is it that I have to do? Oh gosh, that's not a fun message sometimes, is it? Because work feels like work, right? Okay, let's see what your guides say. Hmm. Well, there's actually a few things that I'm hearing. There's three things, and I'm just gonna say that I don't know if they're gonna elaborate, but there's something about being creative. There's some creative project that either you need to start or do or find. Something creative needs to come out of you, and there is travel. There is something with travel that is important. So I don't know if that's to a sacred destination as a sacred site on the earth, or is it to a person? I'm not sure. And the other thing they said, they're saying forgiveness. So that's a general kind of broad word. So there's forgiveness. They would like for you to forgive yourself on some level. And it looks like one person on some level. Not sure what that's about for you. That person could be here, could not be here, may have already made their transition. So I would say there's three things. Um, and they don't really feel like work to me. They just feel like things that your soul still has written out for it to experience. That could take, a number of years. It could take any time. That I'm not sure. So think of what is something creative you've always wanted to do or work on. Think of, is there where you want to travel? Is there someone you need to see or a place you need to see? And then the piece about forgiveness. What do you need to forgive in yourself or maybe another person? So thank you for asking that question. I think we could all ask that for ourselves too. Okay. Thanks, y'all, for bearing with me. I love seeing all the comments over here and everybody joining us. This is so cool. Okay. Should I continue to renew my pharmacy tech licenses? Any thoughts on my upcoming move? And does Charles or Daddy have anything to say to me? Okay, well that's a few questions rolled into one. Let's see here. Pharmacy license. Hmm. I am I'm hearing yes on the pharmacy license. Yes, it's not time to let that go. So keep renewing those. That will come in handy at some point for some reason. Uh, they're telling me that will be obvious too, but you'll be glad that you renewed them. Any thoughts on the upcoming move? Let's see here. One of the things I'm hearing is this will be one of the biggest decisions that you make in your life, and that you will have no regrets, and that it will be better than you can even imagine it will be. And it's right to feel a little anxious around that or curious around that, concerned around that. Yet, like the guide said, if you step into your heart and you think about it, something about it feels good. It feels right. And you're being called in that direction for a reason. And it is a reason. They're telling me it's kind of like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. There's going to be gifts there for you. It's going to be better than you can imagine. And it's just like moving into the unknown. It's a big decision. And so they said to be easy with yourself about it. And if you have anxiety, just be with it and let it pass, and just keep remembering to trust, trust, trust. You're being guided there for a reason. So remember, when things on our path opens up for us and it's green lights and open doors, I mean, it's kind of clear that's where we're supposed to be. And if we're trying to go down a path that's the doors aren't opening, or, we keep hitting red light, yellow light, then the guides are trying to redirect you to the ones where everything is open and flowing. So just remember that if something is just kind of happening too easily, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And just go with that flow as best you can. Okay, so let's see if Charles or Dad has anything for you. So Charles said he loves you very much. He's always loved you, and he's just tried to keep his hands out of everything. He said nobody listened to him, but that's okay. Um, he has a lot of love for you, and where he couldn't be for you here on earth, he can be for you from his place in spirit. And so if you want help with anything, just let him know. He'd be happy to help. Okay. Dad, see, it says to tell you happy birthday. And he said, now this is so sweet. He said he knows you got the message that in this big move, it'll be like finding the pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. Okay. He wants you to know that you're the pot of gold. That's sweet. That makes me a little emotional. It's got to be that full moon. Plus, I know this person that asked that question. I have to tell you, this is my little sister. She's the only one I'm telling on. So that's really sweet. I'm so glad you asked that question. And I really do hope you can see yourself as that pot of gold. And you know what? There's kind of a neat meaning in that, in this move. Like you're really going to find yourself and see how shiny you are and how valuable you are. That is a great message. All right. Thanks for asking that. Okay. Next question. Okay, my sisters are on it tonight. Here we go. I'm watching YouTube tonight. I'm watching your YouTube tonight with Kelly. Now, that's my older sister. Uh, she asked me if I had any questions, and I said, how to process the horrible news every day and the human suffering that is happening. Okay. She said, I know this may be a common question. You've probably had it before. It's my first time attending, so not sure what else to ask, but that one right now. You know what? Somebody did ask that a few weeks ago because, gosh, it just seems like a lot. I think at the time the fires were in Texas. And so your question again is so appropriate to even ask again today because we need reminders. It's like, gosh, there's so much going on in the world. And even looking at, what happened in Russia, I mean, it just breaks your heart to see. And of course, the Israeli and Gaza, I mean, just to name a few things, those are big things. So, we very much, me and the guides appreciate that question. So, with that, the guides really want to talk a little bit about, it's kind of like, suffering in a person or an animal that, is resisting leaving this planet. There's a reason for that suffering. And like we said earlier, sometimes it's necessary to get them to actually finally make that choice to leave. So suffering like we're watching globally today is also necessary. On some level, it's still necessary. This world operates in contrast. And so when we see such suffering like that, what it does for so many of us is brings up just this immeasurable amount of love and compassion. And what the guides would say is refrain from feeling sorry for these people because that does nothing. And it's low energy to feel sorry for someone. yet have appreciation for them, for the lives they're leading, for the it's like their soul chose to be there at this time, going through what they're going through. And those are really big, evolved souls doing that, because what's happening is it's forcing so many people of the world to come together, to wake up and to unite in the bigger message of love and compassion and help and serving. And so they would have you send gratitude and appreciation uh, for those that are suffering, for having this experience, so that the rest of the world can just figure this shit out. Pardon my language, but really, we've got to figure out how to love one another. And we don't realize how divided we are, or how little love we are holding, until we see things like that. And so when we see something that brings out that big emotion, of sadness and, overwhelmment, then that shows us that we really care. And so, in that caring, they said to send blessings, to send gratitude, to send appreciation for the impact they're having on the world. And it's this collective that these groups are going through that's really impacting not only their communities, their countries, their extended families throughout the world, but the whole world. We're all being affected by it. And so, that's a really big deal. And they would have you look at it like that, and look at it as you can send that green light from your heart, or that pink light from your heart, and just flood it to that area, to that country, to those people, and just, ask for wellness and well being. Love and compassion to flow through you to wherever it's needed, and have it sent directly there. Focus on whatever you want to focus on to send it. So you can do that in these big settings like that. You can do them in individual ones, a child at school, or um, a person in spirit, a parent maybe. But you have the power, and love and compassion are huge. They're high vibrations, way higher than feeling sorry. So feeling sorry is down there on that victim energy. And so when you feel sorry for someone, you're moving into that victim level. And so they would have you stay in the love level and have gratitude and appreciation. And man, does that sound so contrary to what we should be thinking and seeing. Like, these people are suffering. I mean, their stories are traumatic. And that human response is to really feel for them and take a moment and have that feeling, and yet let it expand to gratitude, because that's where you really step into that higher version of yourself, and you're holding that higher divine perspective. And because the divine you, that higher you, sees it from that perspective and realizes the part that it's playing in the world is much bigger than what we can see with our eyes right now. So that's a wonderful question. I'm so glad you asked it tonight. I think we all need to hear that again, and just keep practicing that gratitude and appreciation. Thank you for asking that. Okay. Okay. Hi, Betsy. Thank you for all the insight that you've given me. You are so welcome. Okay, my question is, will I be moving or buying a vacation house in the next few years? And does my husband have any health issues that will crop up this year? Okay. Yes, I would say moving is on the horizon. Kind of feels like moving into a vacation place, almost like your vacation place becomes your permanent place. It feels like I can easily see moving boxes. And I would say that would be within the next 2 years, three at the most, but that feels like it's pushing it a little bit, but somewhere around that time frame. Let's see here. As far as your husband here, mhm, will he have any health issues crop up here? It feels interesting. Like there's just little things, little things, little things, little things. Um, Almost kind of like one right after another in the sense that so yeah, I would say something's going to crop up and might be a few months later something else related does, but it feels like there's a few things out there. I'm not getting that it is part of the winding down process, if that makes sense. um, More tending to and caring for, yeah, a nudge to make some lifestyle changes for sure. Maybe this is something that prompts the move that goes on long enough. So, but I would say yes, your intuition is picking up on something there also. I would say um, the bigger message is, what lifestyle changes does your husband need to make? And how could you support him or encourage him to make those changes? You can't. They have to do it when they're ready, and when they desire, if they desire. So, but if so, it might be just something for you to begin thinking about how you can support that. Okay, let's see here. Alrighty, here we go. I recently read an article and find myself mentally projecting things from it onto a situation in my life. What would the guides have me know about clearing this up? Wow, what a great question, huh? Okay, all right. Well, they're telling me that there's some truth in that article for you. It resonates on some level, and there is part of it you are meant to apply, if that makes sense. It may not be to this situation. It may be to a situation in the past that's been triggered. Uh, Hang on here. See if they give me a clearer answer for this here. Hmm. They told me this is an exercise for you, that that article put lots of thoughts of ideas, and you can see where it fits into this situation in your life. They would have you kind of write the anti-article, if that makes sense, and write how it doesn't fit into this situation in your life, and what would a better article be, and what is the truth of the situation in your life. So basically, they would ask you, forget the article you read for a moment, check into your heart. When you do think about the article, are there any truths that are resonating there for you in your heart? And then second, they said they would have you look at the situation in your life and say, how is this situation serving me? How is having this thought and feeling about this situation serving me? Where's the first time I ever had this thought and feeling? Where's it coming from? When's the first time I've ever had it? When's the first time I felt this way about something? That will tell you a lot of what's going on. So, a situation in your life that you're having today, when you're in your adult life, is probably related to a situation when you were younger, and it's just being triggered. We don't know how to make that association unless we really look at what that feeling is that you're feeling, and when's the first time you felt that. So those would be some really good questions to ask yourself. And then, like they said, that article, kind of write how it doesn't fit, and at least you'll have some balance there and some contrast, to put new thoughts into your head. So that's something simple you could do too. So, but the bigger question, yeah, go a little deeper on that. Okay, thank you for asking that too. Okay. All right. We still have about 15 minutes. So I am going to go see here what we've got coming in on the side. I'm so glad to see all of you here. Uh, okay. Oh, let's see. Let's see it. Let's see here. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. Mm, Let me see what I can answer here. Okay. I would love some help from my guides. Oh, that's a little it's a little general there, but we'll just see if they have anything for you. Well, if you've been listening to the whole program, they would like for you to know they're going to take a cue from my dad and tell you that you're the pot of gold too. And that's something that you have to discover within yourself. And they said there's real value there, to be discovered and to be found and to be enjoyed. Um, they said there's some gold in there. uh, the gold is fine. The pot itself, they said that might need some polishing. So there's a little work for you to do there, but they are behind you 100% of the way. And they're telling me that they keep opening doors and doors and doors. And they want you to let some things go. They said you got too much on your shoulders. You've been carrying too much. You need to put it down. Lighten your load, and really be mindful of who you're letting into your experience. So that's a lot of message for that, huh? Okay. Oh, yeah, I just got you. Let's see. I need to ask my team about my any future I may have. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Hmm. Well, they're telling me, gosh, it looks like new dwelling place. I would say there's going to be a move for you also. Might even be a new car somehow. Just feels like there's new energy around you that would dictate, I would say, a new journey. Houses representing that sense of self, where we live, how we are in this, how we're showing up in this world. There's something new about that for you, but a new car too, which is also about how we choose to journey through life. They're just saying new energy around both of these. So I would be open to receiving that and moving in the direction of. So if it feels like something's being taken away from you, that's okay. That's okay. Trust in this process. I'm not hearing that this is something where you have to stand up and fight for yourself and have a boundary. This is something almost to surrender. And it's like, and then go the other way, because there's something being cleared for you. Okay. I am so glad you guys got this tonight too. Okay. Any advice for me, for my guides on staying on my path to helping others? Okay. Let's see here. Oh my God. Staying on my path to helping others. Okay. So they said too, for you, there's a lot of messages were in here for you tonight, this evening already, from being mindful of not being in a feeling sorry place for anyone, and to remember to have love and appreciation for people and their journeys and what their soul has chosen to go through and is going through this lifetime. They would have you also look at some of those energy healers that we mentioned earlier, like Karen Kahn and Donna Eden, as it might be something new for you to study, that you would really appreciate bringing and into the area you're in. I'm not sure where you are geographically, but it looks like that could be something of value brought to that area through you. So I would totally look at that. Okay. All right, let's see here. Oh, okay. I was wondering who your husband was that you logged in under. That's funny. Thank you for telling me. Okay, so here's a question. Betsy, is the independent stockbroker mobile that I'm interested in a good choice for me now and my sister later in the year? Okay, let's see here. Well, okay, they're going to repeat. Check into your heart, get into that heart space to where you just feel like all is right with the world, and then think of this person. And if you feel all is still right with the world, they're saying yes. Now, they're just saying that because they want you to practice. And they want everybody, even tuning into this, to really practice listening to what your heart is telling you. And they are telling me that the person in Mobile, um, I get 2 thumbs up on that for you. One for you, one for your sister, they said. So, yes, I would feel positive about that. And, remember too, this is a really good point. If you've been doing a lot of work on yourself and you've been raising your vibration and you've been clearing stuff and you've been getting out of those lower level vibrations, like victim and guilt and, all that stuff that goes along with it. Remember, you're only going to line up with people that match you where you are. And so as you're clearing things and you're feeling lighter in your load, or, clearer in your purpose and intentions, you're going to attract people that meet you there. So if you haven't been doing your work, you're probably going to attract people that you've been attracting. It's on repeat. So the key is change your vibration. And then when you attract new people into your life, trust that they're lining up with that new vibration, if that makes sense. That's really good for all of us too. Okay. Any advice for discovering why I'm being told I am working from a state of lack? How can I kick that away? Okay. Well, I'm hearing it's more of survival, and which is another one of those. So many of us come from places where survival was the story of our parents or our ancestors, and that just kind of that mentality gets passed down totally subconsciously. And so we look at the world kind of, unless we've really done a lot of work around it. And I mean, a lot of work, like subconscious programming work. We're going to look at things like our ancestors did. So, and our parents and so forth. It's just how this ball rolls here, right? And so they are saying, there's a mentality that they're telling me is there's like a save it for the rainy day, save it for a rainy day, almost like there's not enough and save it to when you need it. And they're telling me that mindset can apply to not only money, but it can apply to love. And it's almost like there's not enough of, so yeah, I guess it is a lack, of everything. And that I just need to hold on to it in case I really need it, at a special time. What they're saying is, they're saying there's plenty to go around. Money does grow on trees. If we could really look at it like that. And love is the order of the universe. And there's no need to survive, because we're all going to be here until we choose not to be here. And that's just how it works. And the only reason we choose not to be here is because we feel complete here. So, really, we're always tapped into the abundance. And again, it's getting into that heart space. And if we're feeling some anxiety or lack or that need to survive, I've got to hold on to things, or there's not enough, then check into that heart space and soften that feeling and do it as often as you need to do it until that goes away. You might have to really, send some healing energy to your ancestry. And I'll tell you, that work, the emotion code work, the body code work, it's really powerful. And clearing ancestral stuff that had been imprinted on, in us, even in our DNA. So I'd say look into that if you want some assistance with it. So um, let me just see if there's anything else around that. So they said don't fight against the feeling of lack. And they said, because remember, what we fight against is always fighting back, and resistance keeps it active, so to speak, keeps that charge there. So instead, they would say, look for the abundance in your life. And even if you have to look at the sky and just see abundance of sky, abundance of trees, abundance of water, abundance of, uh, Well, abundance of everything. It could be positive or negative. There's always an abundance, right? But they would have you start training your mind to recognize the abundance and keep reassuring yourself, like, where again is that coming from? How does that, like the article, how did how does having that viewpoint serve you, and where did it come from? And then you realize, so much of the stuff we're thinking is not ours. We're just kind of just trained to think this way. Uh, so, by well meaning adults, right? And parents, grandparents, and ancestors, it just happens. So, when we really take responsibility for our thoughts, knowing what's ours and not ours, knowing what serves us and what doesn't, and we make conscious choices going forward. I mean, sometimes it's a lot of self-talk in that head, but you know what? It works. And just keep reminding yourself you're an abundant, person in an abundant universe with an abundance of love to give and care to give and joy to receive. It's all there. Um, so yeah, they said focus on the abundance. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no kidding. Look where there's a positive abundance. Great advice. Having ancestors who always saw lack can definitely get imprinted. No kidding. Well, we can change that for our ancestors moving forward. Or we're ancestors. We can change that for those following our lineup, right? We sure can. So we can be the ones that stop that from getting passed on. So, okay, these have been fabulous. So, one of my dear friends introduced me to these really cool cat cards. So, I have to pull a cat card for us tonight because I've been forgetting to pull cards, but here we go. This is our card for the week. Now, remember, we have a full moon today, which is stirring up a lot of stuff, a lot of relationship stuff right now. Um, and then we have Mercury retrograding starting this weekend, or the first, I think, but we're already in the shadow of it. So there's a lot going on. So here's our kitty for the week. Okay, this is Bliss. Meet Camellia. She is in full bloom, radiating delight. When something challenging happens, we often ask ourselves, what can we learn from this? Camellia is here to remind us not to overlook the possibility that some of life's most poignant lessons come from moments of ecstatic bliss. What makes your body, mind, and soul ring with joy? How can you connect to the golden thread of meaning and let it weave its way through your life? This is an invitation to embrace all that is marvelous in your life. Let bliss overcome you as you bask in the limitless love of a million sunrises. Oh my gosh. Is that not the perfect ending to just everything we talked about tonight? All of your amazing questions. Oh, I mean, really, I love this. So thank you guys. Remember, I won't be here next Monday. My family's visiting. I'm so excited I get to see them again. Um, but I'll be here the following. So April 8th will be our next one. But y'all can still send questions in as you think of them. And again, thank you so much for contributing and sharing and being a part of this wonderful journey. All right. Have a great week. Bye.